Hey, just checking in. Hope you're doing really well. Today a friend pointed out that in different news channels that there's a new Dutch concept or Dutch book about niksen, which means doing nothing or sitting down, relaxing, etc. And I haven't heard about that concept, even though I'm Dutch. I understand what it means, of course. Niks is nothing and niks is just doing nothing. But I don't really see the Dutch do nothing that much. Actually, I see the Dutch working a lot, doing a lot in their heads, sometimes dissociated from the body, a lot of times dissociated from feelings, pushing away thoughts. I think the normal state of humanity is that they have all these sort of, you could say, darker sides or problems or mental thoughts or patterns or feelings that they just push away, that they don't want to confront. And by doing that, they stay in a sort of safe zone where mentally they're not really happy, but they're also not really sad. They can sort of get by and they're relatively stable, but they're not really getting out of life what is actually, you could say, our birthright, which is actually very easy to achieve, as in theoretically it's easy, as in just face the feelings, just be with the thoughts. Don't be afraid of thoughts and feelings, they can't touch you. Just be with what is. And if sad thoughts come up, cry. If happy thoughts come up, laugh. And that way you process everything and the mind automatically self-cleans. And the body also loses a lot of tension and spirit as well. Basically, you clean yourself out in a quite easy way. It doesn't have to take a lot of effort. And then again, facing these feelings is intense sometimes. I understand why people avoid it, but most feelings are not so intense to process. But I rarely meet another human that really wants to allow and accept and be with all their feelings and thoughts. Basically invite them in, which is, you could say, on the spiritual path, but also on the path of just well-being. That is very, very helpful to not resist thoughts, feelings, circumstances, but roll with them, you could say. Be with them, allow them, and through this way, automatically you have a lot less burden to carry. Resistance costs a lot of mental energy. A big part of the energy in the body is going to the brain. So if you think a lot, that costs a lot of energy, not only mental energy, but also physical energy. So avoiding thoughts, or actually thinking back and saying, oh, I am okay, it's not a problem, etc. That is, which is quite controversial for me to say, but if you're mentally healthy, it's not a problem to have a negative thought. Not at all, actually. And if you just allow it, it is gone. If you resist it, or you push back on it, basically you give it energy. What you resist persists. This cleaning out of your mental space is not something we learn as children, which I think should be mandatory for all school children to just learn how does the mind work, right? We learn how the body works, but we don't learn how the mind works, which, you know, is proper biology and simple Buddhism, you could say, where you just teach children how to handle their thoughts and feelings. Be with them, don't make them to an issue, don't push them away because they will become bigger, and try to face them, and with that regain your strength, your mental strength. Don't go avoiding your feelings. Basically sit for maybe 1 minute a day or just before lying down and just face all those thoughts and feelings. Just let them run by. Through that, you automatically self-cleanse. You vacuum the space. And when you haven't vacuumed for a while, you could say, it takes some time. It takes maybe a year or 6 months to vacuum everything out. If you only do 5 or 10 minutes a day. It's like the waiting list when you start meditation, or the queue, you could say, of thoughts, feelings, to-dos, etc., which happens when you sit down for the first 30, 40 times with meditation. This self-cleansing system, I think, is really important. And it's also, I think we complicate mental health, we overcomplicate mental health very much. And of course, there are people who actually need medicines, who actually have mental problems. But there are a lot, let's say, hereditary mental problems are a very small part of the mental problems that we currently face as a society, the mental health crisis. I think part of the mental health crisis is just people not knowing what to do with their thoughts and feelings and their trauma. And I think that's an educational problem. I see it as part of my work to educate people on that, and I do. But that will not be enough, because it's something we as humanity should try to embrace and realize. How does the mind work? All right. If you have any questions, let me know. And I hope this video is interesting for you and really nice to check in with you. Bye.